There we go.
Good
And welcome.
evening. Okay, after a few hiccups, we're live. We are
Yeah,
alive, and we're
we
managing
we,
well.
we yeah, we at least got something right tonight.
And listen, I
Yeah.
expected some small technological issues with me. I did one Gideon beforehand. Small glitches. We managed past it at least, so that's okay. Um, so hello to everyone who is watching.
It's good to be
We're
hosted by a
missing
lady
Temba
for a
today.
change.
He's got
Yeah,
his own
load
ESCOM issues.
shedding. Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems that it seems load shedding is back full force. I mean, I know a couple of guys that are experiencing load shedding. I mean, at some point, I think Santin was also experiencing a lot of load shedding. So it seems to be causing a bit of havoc for a lot of people. You know, it's a
Yeah.
real pandemic, that load shedding.
And you know what? The
That's
thing is, where we
pre-pandemic.
stay right now, we always get put on schedule, but we never experience what the schedule's supposed to state.
Yeah,
So in a way, it's actually good because we hardly go through the schedules. But on the other hand, sometimes you go lights out and then you don't know what happened. You're not on any schedule. So
yeah.
that's how it is. But
I've been fortunate in the sense that I think I've only experienced load shedding a small portion of my stay in Joburg, or sorry, in Pretoria,
yeah.
because we stayed on the Denel grid, so we didn't get load shedding, which was quite cool, you know. Like everyone around the Centurion would be like load shedded, but because we didn't stay very far away from Denel, we'd be immune, you know,
Yeah, it's
type of
crazy.
thing. So I kind of
Yeah,
miss
but
that
at
because
Ellen
we
Park,
don't live there anymore. It kind of sucks.
Where is this area that you're
yeah,
talking about?
It's in Turin. It's in Highveld side, next
Oh,
to
that's
Denel.
far. That's very
Yeah.
far from me.
You in Joburg,
yeah,
right?
but at Ellen Park.
Yeah, I'm in Joburg, north side. So Q, a lot of people actually don't know where is Q. So if I say
Really?
Bramley, if
People
I
don't
say
like to. Yeah.
no, I find myself having to explain where's Q. I don't mind it,
And
but it's interesting. People actually that live in Joburg, not too sure.
and then you
But
have
if
to
I
direct
say,
them like
you
which
know,
side are you coming from? When you start with that line, it's like these people. How can you not even know a place that's in Joburg?
and here I am having to explain this from Durban. I'm like, okay, it's fine. We'll get through this together.
Yeah. Yeah, just let's welcome Richard here. I see Richard's just joined us,
Sorry,
and
Richard, you are not late. We actually had some
he's
tech issues thanks to
you are
not
very early,
restart.
Richard.
I
And
just
I have
shared the new link now so that people can get on it because I'm sure they're trying
yeah,
to get onto the old one.
yeah. Floyd, how you doing? I just realized I haven't greeted you, and you're busy sipping some red wine there, brother. And I'm
What a
so jealous.
shame. You need that drink, eh?
I really, and I don't wanna open my wife's bottles because she's gonna kill me.
Open it, man.
You know.
Are you well, though?
No, I'm good. I'm good, man. Just taking it easy. It's been a bit of a hectic week,
Gentlemen,
so I'm
how was
hoping to
National
just.
Bride Day today?
Was it Bride Day today?
Yeah, we were the meat.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let me try this. Richard.
Yeah, I see Wilson just joined as well.
I hope I didn't butcher that.
Hi, Wilson. Yeah, I love how Wilson is describing us, beautiful people. Oh, Wilson, doll.
It's the lady that's with us. It's not me and you, Kofu.
Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot it. There for a moment I was happy.
Here's
I
me
was
saying
about to
nothing right now, right? Here's me saying
I
nothing.
was
I'm just
about to
sitting and behaving.
screenshot that thing to show to my wife. You blew my bubble.
No, you know what? You go and just be happy, my friend.
Yeah,
Take
you know,
the
I must just
you
actually,
take
I must
the
enjoy
shine.
it.
Take the
You know what
shine.
I mean? I washed today, you know, so I should feel good.
So, Kofu, you are from Pretoria side or Centurion.
I'm in Centurion, yeah.
And then Floyd, where are you?
Joburg South.
Okay, where? About?
Ridgeway.
Huh? I don't know where that is. I'm not gonna even attempt to know.
I've
Southside, I
got,
actually
I've
don't
got,
know.
I've got a few mates that live in the south and some family as well, that live in the south. Not a very good place to go drinking if you're coming from Centurion because of the long drive.
I
Yeah,
smell
know?
a lot of stories coming out of you there very silently.
Yeah, no, you know, there's every time I go to the south, it's never a good thing, you know.
Well, I
So
see we
yeah,
have a few people on. Welcome to everyone who's just tuned in. We do have a new link because we had some tech issues earlier on. So
yeah,
apologies for that.
about that, everyone.
But anyways, Gideon is not with us, as you would know. Some say he's taken a private holiday because he's full of things in SA. Others say he went to the USA to do an investigation into Area 55 about a week ago. He hasn't been seen since.
I'm inclined to believe
The debate is on as to what happened to Gideon, but we all were paid to say he's busy. So we'll just go with what we were paid to say. Gideon is busy tonight.
I want to tell the truth. I want to tell the truth. I want to tell the truth.
That is why he
went
didn't
to
pay you
Area
a lot.
55. I can't hold it inside. It's eating me up.
Rubbish. You know what? He's never gonna trust us with his stream again, guys. Let's just have fun as much as we can, because this ain't never gonna happen again without him.
Y'all can tell us anything, you know. The boss ain't around. So feel free to tell us anything. We'll keep it a secret, you know. But remember, this is recorded, you know.
Let's say hello to Grant and Chris, who just joined in a few minutes ago.
Hey
thank
Grant,
you, guys.
hey Chris.
Okay.
Yeah. So guys, how's everyone's week? Y'all had a good time? I'm assuming everyone's good.
It's still Thursday, but this week feels like it's taking longer than it should to end.
Hey, look, it could be worse. We're on level 1 right now. Liquor stores will still be open tomorrow, you know. And the curfew is like what now? 11 o'clock?
It is 11. Look, I reckon that's just well, my 2-cent opinion is that we being what's the saying? You're being lined for the shot. There, so
Yeah,
the plan is level 1, booze is available, go party, and then guys, the numbers have gone up. Then you find yourself in level 4 in December.
no, it's
But
actually
yeah.
for electioneering. If you think about it, that's what I think. You know, they just open it
I
up so
don't
that they
care
can go
about the
campaign.
There's that as well. There's that.
You
for
know.
the
Rifat
elections,
wants to
I
know
don't
who
care
are
about the
people
curfew.
going to vote for. Yeah. Brother
Yeah. Sorry,
Rifat,
Floyd, you were saying
ain't that the
there?
question?
I don't care about the curfew. I go where I want at any time I want to go. You know?
Listen to you,
Outside
Floyd.
problems, guys, we won't understand. It's outside problems.
I don't care. I don't care.
My wife loves me. She gave me something. Yeah.
Nice.
Well done, you. I've
You
got
know,
tea.
she
I'm
heard
doing
all
good.
she heard my cries all the way from YouTube land. You know.
So, have you put in your application as yet? How far are you? What's happening here? Let's talk.
Well, I got my paperwork. I've had my paperwork for some time, to be honest.
Yeah.
That whole process was put on pause for me because I allowed life to get in the way. And then COVID has happened. So with due respect, a lot of other things have taken financial priority is a correct word. So
Yeah.
the plan is still on. It's just a matter of being able to do it comfortably. So
I think the most important thing is we're not sitting here and convincing you to actually put in an application or buy a gun.
No, you know, that part has
So
already been
like
done.
99% of the work is done. You know what I mean? So
That
I'm
part is
glad
done,
that
that's true, yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's good. Yeah.
The
But
thing
yeah, guys,
that's
I think. Oh, sorry, I
no,
interrupted you guys.
no, it's fine. So I was just going to say now, tonight's topic, we're talking about, first of all, I have to mention the 2 weeks ago when I was on the stream, we had a lovely chat. I really enjoyed it. But I did know as well, there's certain things I didn't know. So here was me sitting with pen and paper, and every abbreviation that you guys were talking about, I did not have a clue on. I'm like, okay, write those letters down. You're going to Google later on. But so like the recent drama with this PFTC and Sasita, I saw that and I'm like, okay, first of all, I do not know who those two bodies are. I don't know what's going on. So I did my own research and caught up and everything else. And I'd like to think I have a basic understanding. And I think that's the first part we wanted to talk about tonight. Grant, cheers, Ko, for waving my big bottle of Windhoek at you. Yeah. Well done. I hope it's in a mug though, right? Just in
The
case
guys are
things are
feeling me
recorded
right
here.
now. You know.
Yeah, so I've had a basic understanding of who these bodies are, what their roles are, and everything else. So I'd like to think I have base level. So then I also came up with a few questions. I'm like, okay, but I've got newbie syndrome, guys. I'm bursting with lots of questions and everything else. So maybe you guys can help and explain. But from what I understand, PFTC, they, if my knowledge is correct, they were actually the second professional body to, can I say, be registered in the industry. But that was like many years ago.
Yeah, second private.
Private. But
Yeah.
now there's like
Right.
now there's countless. I've been told more than hundreds. So I've understood them to be non-profit. They have two major jobs that they do. One is to basically guide individuals and train them according to skills,
Yeah.
right? Train them according to their skills and basically fit them into the industry. It's more like someone guiding you, but from a professional standpoint, right? The other one is to make sure that they are upholding the firearms laws and they're maintaining basically the qualifications needed, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Now this thing with Sasita.
Yeah.
So now,
Just to
yeah.
jump in there.
Please do. Let's add more.
So I mean, PFTC, it's pretty much. I mean, it's SACO registered, and it's also recognized. It's a professional body really for firearm training professionals. You know what I mean? But also it's also a quality assurer as well. You know, so obviously, you know, we don't want situations where, because of the compliance that we as firearm owners have to sort of, you know, adhere to, you know, and the FCA and everything. You want to make sure that you don't have these fly-by-night training schools, you know, where you and I can just walk in, you know, hand the oak over $150 and walk out with a security guard. With a, you know, with a certificate or a competency. And I think before before PFTC was there, you would just find these guys just sitting somewhere in an office, and you know, remember we've got one of the largest security industries, you know, in the world, you know, and all these guys need their competencies, you know. So before you would find guys just going somewhere, you know, in an office, no no proper training, no, you know, nothing, no sort of compliance whatsoever. And then, you know, you just hand them wads of cash and you just get a certificate and then, you know, you walk out of there. You know what I'm saying? And that obviously has a major impact. I mean, these are guys that are supposedly supposed to be looking after you. If you know, sort of call for your security guard, you know, they should be able to come and rescue you. So you can imagine if you don't have a body like, you know, PFTC, you know what I mean? You know, make sure that the material and the training, professionals are sort of, properly registered, comply, they've got the right tools, right setup and everything, and make sure that, the quality is on point, and that's pretty much, the role of the PFTC. And alas, we're here, they want to sweep the rug from under their feet. So, yeah.
So that's them. Then let's move to Sasita. First of all, can I just say the difference in these two websites is ginormous. You go to PFTC, it's easy to understand. They get to the point. You go to Sasita, there is more information than you require. It's very confusing. But now for me, Sasita now, okay, help me understand here. They are more focused on safety and security of companies, not individuals. Am I correct?
To be honest, I would be lying. I don't know much about SASSETA except the fact that it just stands for Safety and Security Sector Education and Training Authority. Yeah.
That's the impression I kind of get from them, that they are more for the security industry, not private people.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
actually,
I'm saying this right. Sorry, was you saying what happened to Gideon? Hey, we fired him, Baba. We fired him.
Yeah, we took over, Baba. Hey, you see, we can even drink on the show now. Hey, this guy, get with the program.
Richard is saying cash in transit. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. It's kind of in the right direction there. Yeah, I also get that kind of idea. So now, this fight between the PFTC and Sasita, I understand it as Sasita wants to have the whole cake to themselves. Even though we all know they've had it before and they weren't able to manage it.
Yeah.
Now, for them to take it away from a body that has been handling it very well, from my understanding, PFTC had to have a history where either they've got a line of complaints or defaults or something where it led to this point. But that's I guess a perfect world situation where if things are done correctly, that's how you land to the position where we are at right now. So this fight between them, I mean, I remember Gideon saying we shouldn't panic too much about it. It's basically the last attempt at trying to get a piece of the pie. So, I mean, knowing PFTC, they will fight it with tooth and nails. But do you see this fight ending?
Yeah. Look, I think we need to obviously try and sort of, for me, I think it's a bit more of a political and, sort of, way to get, the hands into the kitty. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you can imagine all the training sort of members, professional sort of companies that belong to PFTC, and you know what I mean. So obviously, someone sat there and thought, great, we need to get this in the bag, so that we can be able to obviously loot and likely probably increase rates and make it difficult for everyone, who's trying to sort of, get a competency, and go on and sort of either go find a job in the security industry or sort of purchase a firearm. You know what I mean? So this is potentially one of the ways in which the government is obviously trying to sort of make it difficult. But largely, I genuinely believe that it's also for them to sort of try and loot, and collapse this whole thing. CETAs are not known to be the best run organizations, and no one ever really knows what the fuck they do anyway. You know what I mean? So this is just one of those politically motivated sort of, issues that, they're just trying to sort of collapse the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think, the PFTC is really necessarily going to hand themselves over or hand over everything to Sasita. I think definitely this will obviously go to court. And I'd like to believe that, PFTC have got some good attorneys, that will obviously fight the case for them. And I don't think this is going to happen personally as well. I just don't see it happening. You know what I mean? I personally
Well,
just
that's
don't see that.
reassuring, actually. It's good to know. I also don't see that happening because this fight has been going on for a while. And also, apart from it being political and all about the ching-ching, I also think, look, government has realized through recent events this year just how equipped people are. And they are trying to control the public. So I think this is also their way of getting weapons out of people's hands so that they can control people. Because let's be honest, if you really think about it, did they have control over the riots and the people?
They didn't. Never.
Not a stitch. The only way was when they came in after the drama and after the action, if I can call it that, to sweep up. And that's not when they were needed. So you've got two sides of the fence fighting. You've got government saying, yo, we didn't know they were so equipped. And then you've got people saying, we don't have enough people with equipment. And we are, obviously, we are for more people getting equipped, because my viewpoint is, if that hasn't shown you, you have to fight your own battles, I don't know what would. Good evening, everybody. I see some people are missing Gideon. We sent him to Area 55, guys. He hasn't been seen since a week.
I see. What is he saying? You've expropriated the stream.
Listen, he ain't going to trust us again. That I know for sure, but it's fine. Let's go all crazy and go all wild today. No, Gideon is a bit busy. So he trusted us with his stream. Clearly, he has some faith in us. I don't know about ourselves, but we'll just go with the flow. But thanks for everyone who tuned in. At least I understand this fight, and I have confidence that it's not going to work in Sasseta's direction. Interesting, though, how they have worked around getting now. I think it was Chamba earlier on who said something about cards are printed.
So
what is that?
before we get to that topic, I just want to sort of jump on and just sort of just close the other one quickly. I'm not too worried about the whole PFTC thing. I think, you know what, it's going to take a while. And, and I mean, it's probably going to go to court. I mean, they're not going to get a date immediately. And, government is useless with court cases, and they're going to get some crap lawyer and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So I don't even think we should bother our heads with this sort of thing. We going to be all right, in the words of Malusi Gigaba. We going to be right, So don't panic, everyone, don't panic. We going to be all right. Nothing is going to be taken away from us. Right.
I was panicking in the beginning, but then after catching up, I realized this has been going on for longer than you thought it was. So I'm not panic-stricken any longer. I have full faith and confidence that and you're fighting a lot of bodies. Oh, another one I wanted to ask whilst we're on this topic as well. So now PFTC, they're in charge of training and everything else. All these other bodies, for example, if you were qualified enough and you started your own training center or whatever, do you then do the same thing they did, register yourself all by yourself, or are you going to go under them? If you understand what the hell I'm saying.
So I'm just sort of trying to understand.
So my question then is, you see how Sasita is fighting PFTC? Are they also fighting every other body? Can I call it that? Or is everyone else under PFTC?
Every trainer is under PFTC.
Okay, so they're the main body. So okay. Well, then that's further confidence that it's not going to win, because you fighting
no. Look, I mean, it's. I don't see on what grounds they want to take it away, and I don't think any sort of self-respecting judge is going to actually allow this to sort of, pass through. It might even get thrown out of court. I mean, if I was a judge, I'd take that fight and literally throw it out the window, and then tell the government to fuck off. You know what I mean? as Wazi says, I must say, it's a clusterfuck.
Yeah, I'm just seeing that now. I'm like, hey, my God, I'll take Magpie.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
what's
It's a
gonna happen?
clusterfuck for
Freud's
the
gonna take
government.
more over.
Yeah, but
That's your word.
on this topic, I mean, which leads us to the next topic, which is, you know, the one thing that we're going to discuss is the importance of arming yourself before the need, you know, and I'd like to believe a lot of the guys that are obviously watching are probably armed, you know what I mean, and don't, you know,
Yes.
need to be, you know what I mean, sort of thing. I think it's a very important question, just to sort of topic, just to sort of delve into it. And just discuss around it. And I mean, I'd like to see more guys on the comments just commenting about it. I mean, it's you know, why is it
Yeah,
important
look
to
with
make
that.
sure that
Yeah,
you're
that
armed
that
before
for me
you
is a
leave?
very important topic because, like you
Yeah.
just said now, most people who are on the stream right now have weapons, have been introduced to them, they are for it. I'd like to think. The thing that I've been pondering for a few weeks now is, how do we get more people who don't think about the importance of having a weapon on board? Because first of all, I might sound like a broken record, but you're dealing with a lot of stereotypes. First one, males, they're the ones who carry the weapon. Females are the ones always needing protection, whether
Yeah.
it's at home with your family or in general. Then the other one is, a lot of people get involved in the world of weaponry after going through some personal situation that made them click and open up and realize, if only I was. And let me just point out, it's not only about having a weapon. It's, if you go for basic beginner course training, you learn and understand that it's about self-defense. Now, self-defense open up a whole different world of, you can call it karate, you can call it kickboxing, and other, I can call it fitness measures put in place for you to protect yourself, right? You learn the last thing you try and go for is a weapon, because a firearm, because that's not a joke. It can injure or kill, and that's not what we're here for. We're not excited to pull up our weapon and go, I have a weapon. At the same time, just because you are armed, you are trained, you have knowledge, it doesn't mean people are going to automatically know that and go, hey, let's not rob this house. They have weapons. It don't matter. It just means you have a 50% chance of saving your life, saving your family's life, and living to see another day.
Yeah,
where
very true.
you don't need to lose your life. So, like the first time I ever thought of a weapon is actually not when my brother-in-law went through his personal episode. I was actually a student living back in Durban. I was studying and I was working at a local radio station at the time. It was a Saturday morning, and I was walking to the taxi rank to catch a taxi to go to work. And for some bizarre reason, that's the Saturday, all the aunties that decide to clean their yard, they decided they're not going to clean their yard. So the streets were empty, absolutely quiet. Down comes this bottle green, I think it's a dolphin-shaped BMW, old. It's strolling down. It casually stops in front of me. There's, I think, 5 males in the car. The one comes out with a weapon already pointing in my direction, and he goes, and he greets me, hello, sister. Please, can I have your cell phone? So sweet, so kind. So I'm like, hey, Batum. That time, my phone was a V360, Motorola V360. It was the first one I ever bought myself. So I'm like,
Is it the flip?
Flips. Yes, the flip. So I'm like, yeah, now I can't even put this in storage one day to show my children how far we've come in life. All right, fine. Here's me. I'm reaching out for the cell phone. As I'm doing that, one guy in the vehicle says, Bamba Esquam. Now that means take the whole bag. Take the bag. So I'm like, oh, guys, don't laugh. First thing I thought is my lunch is in the bag. How are you going to take my lunch? Then I thought of the ID and the money and everything else. So when this guy walked out the car with the weapon pointing at me, I wasn't stressed or panic stricken or anything. I was chill. Like now, it's like, oh, okay, it's one of those things. It's South Africa. Welcome to your first encounter. You know, the first thing that went through my mind was I was actually a bit irritated over the fact that I saw the gun, and the first thing my brain told me was, how do I know if that's a real gun or if that's a fake gun? Having said that, I then said, you don't know, so just comply. Neither do you know how to protect yourself or do anything in that situation to help yourself. So, see, and also, like I was saying, there was no one on the street, not even a car driving by. I'm all alone. Ain't nobody gonna know what happened to you. So that was me just saying, okay, comply, do what they want. So then I memorized the number plate as they drove off, and they drove off so slowly. I was actually very irritated. So I memorized the number plate, I hit a U-turn, I went back home. That's my story. That was the first and last I ever thought of a weapon. I never thought more than that, hey, you know what? You should actually think about things. And then when my brother-in-law had his episode a couple years ago, and when he decided the very next day, listen, I ain't going to go through this. Because like I said, he is quite a big size guy. And I pick on that because he can look intimidating. And he had, I don't know how many guys were on top of him at the point, but he went the very next day and decided, I want a weapon. And that's how I then got seriously involved in it, you know, getting experience handling it and everything else. So I'm now realizing, you know what? One of the things that Temba has taught me when I went for his training was, first of all, the first thing you do is assess the situation. Second thing, try and avoid it if you can. And I'm saying Wazi's comment here, would a gun have helped in your situation? I don't know, because at the same time, and this is why I feel there's so much more training that's needed. I could have had a weapon and pulled it out. Again, I don't know if he had a real one. I don't know if it was fake. There's 5 guys against one tiny sized female with no witnesses, no one to call for help. I think, Wazi, if I had a weapon at the time, I still wouldn't pull it out. Because I feel I wouldn't have been trained enough.
Just to jump in there, Ari, I think you know, one of the things that it's very important to note that the firearm is not a magical one. It's not a magic one. You know what I mean? It's a tool that's part of your arsenal. You know what I mean? And one of the greatest tools that you can have, you know, in your toolkit is self-awareness, is situational awareness. You know what I mean? Because you don't get a pre-warning that says you're about to get robbed, attacked, or you know what I mean, or hijacked or killed or something like that. And when you are constantly alert, you are able to spot certain things that might be out of the ordinary. Because there's always a sign most of the time. You know, how the guy walks when he's walking towards you, this car that just been following you, you know what I'm saying? You know, and whatever other signs might be there. So it's very important that, you know, you remember your firearm should be your last resort after if you notice that something is about to happen, you better prepare yourself, but you can also take yourself out of, you know, sort of the pending danger that might be coming to you. You know what I mean? The best shooters have been killed. You know what I mean? And simply because shit happens. You know, they came up from the back, we heard the stories. You know what I mean? You know, sort of let their guard down for a little bit and shit happens. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's just sort of, I don't know what Floyd's take on this is. I'd just like to sort of defer to him and just hear what he thinks, you know?
Okay. So my take on this whole thing is I saw one person here commented that we need more armed women than ever, you know? But with that, the excuse the phrase, the way
Sorry, I don't know if it's just me, but Floyd is sounding a bit low on volume there.
Yeah, you sound a bit far, Floyd.
I don't know. And how's the sound?
There we go.
There we go. You're back in action.
That
Go for
is
it.
much better.
As you were, soldier.
Yeah. So I'm saying, so in terms of these things, I'd rather have more women armed than men. You know, women are the most. They have the highest number in population, and women are the ones that are more vulnerable. You know, to these criminals and all of that. You know, and so everybody who owns a cell phone is no longer a luxury. You know, it's a necessity, something. It's a tool that you need. And what is the first thing that criminals want when they come to you? Like you said, your story, they went for your cell phone first, and then before they could go for the bag, you know. So you need to be able to defend your cell phone, you know, first. And a firearm is no longer a thing of an ego thing that I want to be this, I want to be that, or I'm bulletproof. No, like Hofu said, you need to be ready. You need to know your story. It's a tool that, you know, you're going to have papers here and you need to staple them together. It's that, you know, if you're going to have a bunch of guys and you need to put them together, stack them one place, you know, and then that's it. You know, if you were to shoot with those 5 guys, whether armed or not armed, if it's 5 guys against you, I mean, the law can still say you used excessive power. You couldn't shoot, but, you know, look at your body size and look at 5 guys. I mean, how would you overcome 5 guys as a lady?
Yeah, you see, so all of that ran through my mind as well, and I'm like, now I feel with the knowledge I have now, just a little bit more knowledge than I had back then, I still would have done what I did because look, I still don't have a lot of self-defense training and all of that, but for me, it goes back to assess your surroundings, your environment, assess your situation. I mean, it would have meant nothing for them to throw me in the car like a small little bag and gone. My mother thinks I went to work and everyone thinks I'm going to come back home in the afternoon. Meanwhile, there's no additional.
No, true.
That's true. You know, but again, being armed, you know, Temba asked a question on the other platform that, now, how many magazines do you carry and what do you carry? You know, people are like 8 rounds or like 5 rounds, some are like 2 rounds. But my argument is, I had a friend of mine, he was armed to the teeth. You've got to be armed. You've got to have a pepper spray, you know, you've got to have a knife. You've got to have a baton stick. You know, if you have a firearm, have a firearm. If you're going to have a burner gun, have a burner gun. You understand? So you are steps in the right directions. Those things that I've mentioned, they can distract your perpetrator. You know, half the time I've seen people get a gap, but they have nothing to use on that gap where they can use. You get an opportunity, but you have nothing at your disposal to use. You know, you don't have a brick, you don't have anything, and I've seen a lot of people with opportunities, but he has nothing. That person has left everything in God's hands.
You know? Very true. And you know, it's very important. I mean, just one thing that I want to sort of touch on is we all have this idea of how, when the moment comes, what's going to happen. You know what I mean? But what happens in reality versus what happens in your mind are normally two. It's like a fist fight. You know, if you've ever been in a fist fight, you know, before it happens, you see yourself knocking this guy out, and then you just grab a beer, and then the fight is over. You know what I mean? Until both of you are hugging like fucking what and rolling on the floor, and you're thinking, why am I not getting this punch through? You know what I mean? Type of thing. And similar to sort of gunfights, you know what I'm saying? You were not going to choose the time. You're not going to choose the place. You know, you might just be in a car, you know, and being, you know, drawing your firearm, you know, in a car. It's freaking tricky. You know what I'm saying? You might just have groceries in your hands. You might just be with your kids. There's a whole bunch of things that come into play, and that is why, you know, once you get a firearm, it's very important that you train as much as you can. because that you need to be able to operate your firearm under pressure, and I do sports shooting, and I mean I'm still shooting targets that are still not moving, but the amount of pressure that you sort of are put under in that competitive environment shows you that now when you're in a real life situation and someone is shooting back at you, you know what I'm saying? And it's very important that we all get that practice. How do you clear a jam? How do you draw quickly? You know what I'm saying? How do you spot things that are out of the ordinary? Stuff like that. Most people just buy a gun, they get the competency, do the proficiency training, shoot the 10 rounds that they need to shoot at the range, get their cars and go pick up their guns, maybe go to the range once or twice, do 50 rounds, and realize that shit, this is a bit costly, and then boom, they carry the gun maybe for the first month, and then they realize, oh shit, this is heavy because they didn't get the right holster, and then it just becomes a safe queen, and then for some reason, those people tend to think that they know when shit is going to hit the fan. And it's usually when I'm going to drive at night, when I'm driving from my mate's house after we've just had a bride and a dog, I know definitely something is going to happen. You know what I mean? But when I'm going to work, I'm safe because, going to work is safe. You know what I'm saying? People get robbed when they coming back from work, or they're going to visit their mates, or they're coming back from the bar. You know what I mean? And we all know that shit happens at the awkwardest of times, So you find that most of the time, guys really end up not being able to actually fully sort of get themselves out of sticky situations because they didn't practice, they didn't train, their guns are at home in a safe. You know what I mean? Or they might even injure themselves because of the situation is so stressful. The simple thing like drawing your firearm under stress. That's where a lot of mistakes can happen.
You can get it wrong just there.
You could end up shooting yourself. You know what I'm saying? That constant repetition of training such things. You know what I mean? And we all know when you get to the range and you start shooting, you're pointing, you're looking at your sights, and then press the trigger. And then you're thinking, but that didn't go where I was pointing. Why didn't it hit the bullseye?
See, that's the thing. You spoke about so many good points there. First thing, things happen closer to your home far more than it happens out in the public space. And I think we spoke a little bit about that 2 weeks ago, where accidents on the road, for example, that happens where 5 k's out of away from home. Why? Because most of the time people are like, I'm around the corner from home, I can take out my seatbelt, I can chill. Your level of concentration and your attention to detail has now lowered. Your guard is down, so to speak. Same thing with home invasions.
I'll give you an example of something that happened to me this past week. I don't know if you guys heard about the incident that happened in Centurion Mall with the robbery.
Yeah.
When that incident was happening, I was actually leaving the gym. And the reason why I didn't hear those gunshots is because I had my earphones on and I was playing music, which is very strange because normally as soon as I get out of the gym, I switch my earphones off, and then, so that I can obviously be aware of my surroundings. On the day that I decided to just listen to that extra track is the day when shit hit the fan in that mall. Lucky for me, the action happened on the other side of the mall. Okay. And how I noticed that something was happening. So I sometimes I jog to the gym, right? The reason why I noticed that something was happening was because as soon as I got out of the mall, I just heard sirens and I just saw these 2 police buggies driving very fast and a private security car driving behind them. And then I just figured something's happening, and I keep walking. So in my mind, I'm thinking, nothing's happening to me. So let me walk home. But at that time, obviously, I've got a Smith & Wesson Shield. right? That's what I
But
take to
did you
gym.
think it was something that heavy, like there were gunshots going off, or maybe what did you think happened actually?
The gunshots did go off, but my earphones were
Did you
on.
know it at that time when it went off?
No,
Okay,
no,
so what
I
did you
didn't
think
hear
was
anything.
happening?
No, there was not even commotion or anything.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it happened on the other side. So, but I would have heard the gunshots if I didn't have my earphones on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can differentiate between a gunshot and some other stupid sound that might sound like a gun, You know what I mean? So I'm walking out. So that now has transpired. I see these two police bikies, they're driving past, and I'm thinking, I'm okay. And then I walk probably about maybe 50 meters. I get to a set of traffic lights. Now there's a lady who's got a trailer who's selling food. Now, as I get to the traffic lights, she's on my right? There's this grayish silver Toyota Corolla that's parked there, but it's parked very weird. The first thing that goes to my mind is,
Like
but
those
why is this
Uber
car
ones?
parked like that? No, an older model,
Okay.
right? Older model. And it's got about, I think, 3 guys in there. And I look at it and I'm thinking, but these guys are not parked so lekker. And they don't look like they're sort of, they look like they're up to no good. And then I cross the set of the traffic lights, and then I walk probably for about 7 minutes. I turn into my street, and then just about 2 minutes away from my gate, I literally see this Corolla come up from as I turn and I look at the road. This Corolla is literally right next to me, and I recognized one, the color and the rims, and I thought, fuck, these guys have been following me. So you can imagine I had walked a total of 7 minutes, more or less, and that's quite a bit of a distance walking. You know what I mean? And immediately I just went for my firearm, but I was just like lifting my shirt, my t-shirt very slowly. And then I think they probably noticed, but there was a hump. There was a hump, and they slowed down, they went over the hump, and then they just drove past. Now I was sitting there and trying to figure out, was it just one of those cases where, these guys maybe were lost, or they were just going to the same street that I was going through, and I just happened to meet them where the hump was, so it looked like they were slowing down. A whole bunch of questions went through my head. But that showed me two things. I wasn't too sort of aware of my surroundings, what was happening. And immediately when I realized what could have potentially happened, the guys were literally next to me. You know what I mean? The only thing that was going to save me was probably me drawing my firearm very fast and not having to chamber around, because I always carry one up. You know what I mean? And those are small things that could get you into trouble if you're not careful. So you can imagine back at the mall, if that shooting happened not too far away from me and I've got my earphones on, blasting music. You know what I mean?
100%. That's kind of similar to my first situation. And I like the fact that you talk about you weren't aware of your surroundings. You weren't aware of what was happening around you. And when you did come to, it was too late. I mean, in my situation there, I thought, I am helpless. There's nothing I can do in the situation. Just give in. Because the last thing I wanted to happen was I go in this car, because I know no one's going to know.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. Now, having been introduced to weapons and things like that, and having listened to Floyd earlier on, and a few of the guys were commenting as well, and your situation now, there's only one thing that has been beeping in my mind like a light bulb throughout this whole entire conversation we are having. It's, if only I had training and I knew what to do.
Yeah.
Because I saw the car coming. It was slow. I got the knot in my tummy, which is always my personal telltale sign something's wrong.
Yeah.
So
you
I
always
was
know.
aware.
There's
always know. Yes.
Screw
Which
that
is probably
bullshit.
how you realize.
They came out of nowhere. Fuck nowhere, my ass.
No,
they were following you.
That's the thing now. Without sounding cocky, we choose to ignore the signs.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I had more training, I probably would have reacted differently. I would have U-turned and walked away. As I'm doing that, probably prepared myself with my weapon just in case.
Yeah.
Because like the gentleman was saying, no one's going to expect me to have a weapon or to even be aware and alert and prepared.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Correct. I've seen guys who took me for granted, never thought that I had a weapon. I was in short and a t-shirt, and at that time, I think it was even 20 years ago, I was still a tiny guy, and this guy just
Yeah.
confronted me. And I gave
Yeah.
them a hell of a surprise, and they couldn't believe, and they came to apologize the next day. But you know,
Yeah.
they came to apologize with injuries. You
Jeez,
understand?
man.
So
The thugs in
Ivo,
your neighborhood are so cool. They come and apologize. Fuck, I want
Peacemaker
to come
Floyd
live there, man.
Stone.
Guys, we need to
yeah,
move to Floyd's neighborhood. Fuck.
you know, and
You know?
they said no. I was at a house there, and they came to that house and say, "Look here, we're sorry. Yes, we wanted to take a chance, and we didn't see it coming, and
Yeah.
I just never gave them an opportunity." You understand? And
I am
I've
shocked
had
that they came
incidents.
back.
They
Okay.
came back to apologize at that place where I was.
Normally,
My
people
word.
come back to show revenge or to be like, oh, you think you weaponed up? Let
They
me show
came
you.
there.
This time I'm
Yeah.
They were
coming
like,
double power.
we're sorry. We shouldn't have. We took a chance. And there was a short guy there in shorts. We took him for granted, and he showed us. So
Yeah.
I
This
don't
one's for
have
you,
that time.
Floyd.
Floyd,
Floyd Wick. Once you
so
got jokes, Floyd. I hear exactly what you're saying, and I'll tell you why. Um, we have this thing in the gun community where we just want. I don't know what's the fascination with always wanting to look tactical and tactical. You know what I mean? I think the only thing that saves a lot of guys is the fact that guys have to go to the office, so you can't be looking tactical in the office, and your boss thinking, nigga, what you wear? You know what I'm saying? But there are certain guys that you just look at the way you're dressed, and the next thing that you do is just look at their hip. Is there something there? You know what I mean? Cargos, freaking what those thingies that they put on the wristband, and probably a cloth T-shirt there and there. Sometimes not always the case, or a Hornady cap.
I love that you're
And
talking about this.
and it's almost like this whole thing that we get from this whole American culture of trying to look very tactical, and then the knife as well. And then you check out the
Yes,
knife. Every
yes.
time I see someone with a knife, I automatically assume they're like
A
carrying
knife
a
and a
gun.
multi-tool.
Yeah, and I check the hip. You know what I mean? And it's got to be an element of surprise, guys. You don't want to give too much away. It's really got to be. And aside from the tacticalness, you get guys that like really just wear tight clothing. There's this guy that we used to shoot with at one of the clubs, Pretoria East, and this guy had a tendency of literally wearing a tight shirt and an outside holster.
Did he have a
And
six-pack?
no, he didn't have a six pack.
Oh,
Like he was
shame.
literally printing,
Okay.
all the time. And I was like, where's the element of surprise? This guy's gonna get popped one day. I mean, the last time I saw that guy, I bumped into him in a shop, right? And I just looked and I just saw his piece just sticking out, and I was like, but why would you want to do that? And for me, I like dressing like casual. Like I'll wear shorts, I'll wear track pants, you know what I mean? And I'll just slip my gun in there because I know no one is gonna think. The first thing is that guy's wearing tracksuit pants. He's probably not carrying a gun, and he's wearing flops. You know what I mean, or flip flops. And man, when I pull it out, you know what I mean? It's gonna go bang. It's gonna
that's
be.
it.
100%. You see, you're
It's
talking
about to
about
go down.
how people are dressed. That's when we used to go out with my brother-in-law. He is that type. He has his piece everywhere we go. Even if it's to visit the bread shop, he's got his piece. Now, at the time, it used to annoy the bejesus out of me because I'm like, dude, overkill. I get
Yeah,
being prepared, but this guy, He will carry 3 magazines, loaded one up, and he will wear his cargo army everywhere he goes. If we have to go to the yard to fetch something, here's he, no shirt. He's got his, what do you call this thing now? His holster. It's like a crossback holster. He's got it on. He'll stand in the middle of the road looking left. I'm like, Auntie, you know what? You don't need to advertise it. Like, it's good that he's coming out, especially at night and things, be aware and all of that. But I never liked the idea of him having to advertise it everywhere he went. That's the one thing. The other thing is people expected my partner to be the one to carry. Whenever we went out, like say, supposing we go to Durban tendencies are coming in. I want to say Suncoast. It's not Suncoast. It's that place in Fourways. What?
Altitude.
No, man, the casino.
Monte Casino.
Thank you. Thank you. We go to Monte. You got to go through the security check and everything else. So when
I don't know. I always take my gun into Monte Casino. I don't know how is it that people haven't figured out how you can take your gun into Monte Casino. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm just saying I always go into my gun.
Yo, please don't. This thing is being recorded live here. But the thing is, it was a problem because everywhere we went, and if he had to, well, he was carrying his weapon. It didn't matter where we went. It was a problem where he always had to go through the drama of putting it away. But the thing is, people always expected my partner to be the one carrying, and he never did. He's like me, found a weapon he liked, but we both haven't gone and done our competencies. We've got the paperwork and all of that going.
Just to jump in there, Ari, quickly, I want to respond. I don't know if you can bring up Richard's last comment there. I grew up with my grandfather telling me you're not a man if you don't carry a pocket knife. I still carry a pocket knife in one. I fully agree with. I'm going to sound like a bit like a chauvinist. I fully agree with Richard. You should have a knife.
I don't have an objection to that. I agree.
But for me, the problem is, most of the time where we as men put our knives, right? Especially if you're wearing pants, there's always that clip showing on the outside. For me, if I see that, the next thing I'm going to look for is a firearm on your hip or appendix carry, right? And make no mistake, guys, we are not dealing with idiots when it comes to thugs. These guys know what to look for. The YouTube content is freely available. Anyone can check it out. Everyone who's got a phone can access YouTube and type in guns and all of that and ultimately get to realize that, what a lot of us do. You know what I'm saying? And I think they've fallen out of fashion now. These cameraman jackets. A lot of guys used to wear them at the club shoots, and I'm glad those things are not being worn anymore. Those are also a massive tell. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get to a point where it's going to be an element.
Those padded jackets, those thick ones.
The cameraman jackets with the 500,000 pockets.
Those ones.
Sleeveless,
yes, right. I'm with you.
That shit was just hideous. I never owned one, and I'll never own that piece of shit. Guys, I love my clothing. I want to look good. Doesn't mean I can always afford it, but I want to look good.
No, it's not that. Just as we are wrapping up here, it's the whole point of this conversation was once you get involved in the world of weapons, it is fun. There we go, Floyd. Oh, Jehovah, he still has it. Hey, Southside problems. And he's got it in the right color.
Yo, Floyd, please.
Hang on. How fast did you go and get that jacket? It means it's ready on the go.
He's still wearing it.
So, yes, we are talking to you, Mr. Floyd Sono. What's happening now?
We're going to take your man card, man.
You will never. I don't know when was the last time I wore this thing. You'll never catch me with this thing. But that element of surprise, that's all we need. I carry a pocket knife, and there's a reason why I carry a pocket knife. So if you come to me and you see my knife displayed, I'm going to hurt you. I'm not going to stab you. I'm going to shoot you, and I'm going to say that's your knife.
Yeah.
Okay.
And And knives are really honestly tools of convenience as well. Opening boxes, you know what I mean, cutting biltong and things like that. I used to.
It's
I'm
an
a big knife
essential
fan.
item at this point in one's life. 21st century,
No, it
it should
is.
be an essential item.
No, it
Yeah.
is definitely. I mean, I've got quite a number of knives, and at that point in time when I was buying, I mean, I bought myself a Spartan, cold steel Spartan, and I think it was a Raja as well. These massive folders. Now I'm like, why the fuck did I buy these things? Like there's so many nice new knives now, obviously that are there. But I mean, I hardly carry my big knives, because they're really not convenient. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if
No.
I'm trying to fucking decapitate someone, yeah, they'll come in very handy. You know what I mean? Type of thing.
Yeah. There's
But
many ways
everything's got
to
to be
carry,
convenient. You know what I'm saying? Everything's got to be convenient.
The thing is, it's about having the right weapon for the right situation. And I've learned there's so many holsters available. For example, me as a female, and now I'm thinking about everything you guys probably know of, but I'm thinking about it fresh, and I'm probably, making you guys think, oh, shame, new one. Welcome to the pack. But like, here's me thinking, okay, I want to go and do my grocery shopping this weekend. I'm going to carry this size handbag. I need a size weapon that can fit in there. I'm already thinking that. I'm thinking we're going to go out to an event this evening. I'm going to be wearing an evening gown or a dress. Where do I put that? Because I've got a clutch handbag. I'm thinking
La
those
Femme
things.
Nikita. Remember La Femme Nikita?
Oh, I love that girl. She was my
Ding,
motivator for life. So,
For the guys on Instagram, I just want to throw something in there. There's a lady, Emily, right? Her page is called Style Me Tactical. Her name
I'm
is
interested
Emily.
in this page.
Yeah, it's called Style Me, as in like Style Me Tactical.
Yeah.
Brilliant page. Check it out for the ladies. It's amazing. I mean, this woman. Like you'll just check it out. I'll write on the comments so that the guys can see. For those that want the ladies to sort of,
I found it.
get some ideas.
So a firearm in a handbag, it's a no-no. Remember with your situation, they said
Exactly.
that is quam. That is quam. So whenever you put your weapon in your bag, always remember those words of status quo, So
yeah,
because they would have taken my bag with my weapon, I still lost out.
But also drawing would have been a nightmare. Your draw time is increased dramatically.
And your weapon being used on you, I would hate to see it to happen to anybody. Your own weapon being used on you. I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody. Find a way, do stuff. You've got to be. Just don't stop thinking. Don't stop thinking.
Yeah.
If you're with a baby and you're pushing it.
You've got to make some sacrifices as well, Floyd. I mean, being a woman, you're not going to always. Sometimes, maybe if you're going to be dressing up in that beautiful sort of nightgown or whatever, fancy thingy, maybe then you might have to put it on your thigh, or maybe you might have to get like a waist thing, or maybe leave it in the safe, let your husband carry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or if you know that the venue that you're going to has a safe. Like for instance, if you're going to some of these casinos, like what's the Sun whatever here by Medlane or whatever, you could put it in there, and you know what I'm saying, type of thing. So, but
yeah,
it should always be on you, because if they grab that handbag and they run away with it, you're in trouble.
You're gonna cry.
That's the thing, gentlemen, and that's a very good point. And this is why. No, exactly. And this is under the left bourgeoisie. I was already thinking that, but I didn't want to be that guy who brings it up. But why the left one? But you know what? Whoa.
We're not getting into this right now. Like bra holster, is that like your friend holding the holster, or like bra boob? I'm trying to understand.
Bras for life. Richard saying a sports bra with a holster.
Yes,
okay, but that's
good.
The thing.
That works very well.
That actually does sound good. and it will work well. But the thing is, this is why I think the more you get trained, the more you get knowledgeable, the more you get educated on these things, you can't lose out. Because, and again, like Kofu, you do sports shooting, so that's your fun. Now you don't need to carry a big, fancy, super expensive whatever. You need to have an everyday carry, and you need to have a carry like for certain situations or outfits or whatever the case is, right? And there are different holsters available for, and I think I'm targeting this more towards women as well, for you to be able to custom your comfort and your protection. The more you go for, it's like going for advanced drivers. Now, when we talk about being armed and being equipped and knowledgeable and trained, it's not just with firearms. You can be in a situation where you didn't need to reach for your firearm. But if you went for advanced drivers, for example, you would know how to get out of the situation, how to create space. That's one of the things you are taught. You always create space around you so that if something happens, you have an escape route. My partner went for the course. I'm very charming, as you would know. So the instructor liked me so much. He says, you can stay for the lecture and everything else. It's just when they having their one-on-one drive, I won't be able to attend. But that didn't matter to me because I took back from there a ton of knowledge. And I'd like to think I'm like a sponge when it comes to these things, and I absorb knowledge very well. So the thing is, you get into a situation because you are equipped, because you are knowledgeable, you are able to avoid a situation. I did the best I could at that time to avoid a situation. At that time, that loss for me was big because, I mean, IDs, 800 rand, cell phone, everything gone. But now that I am more knowledgeable, I'm better equipped at handling a similar situation. I mean, I even had a knife against me in town. And guys, I laughed at them. That's another story for another day.
KwaZulu, that place is dangerous, yes.
Very dangerous. That also happened in KZN. Again, I was still a student, but this time it happened in town, steps away from my campus. So, but I'd like to think my eyes kind of scared them off, not to be racist, but they were African guys, two of them, tall as ladders. They looked at me and the one started shivering in his voice. I heard that.
Bravo males. Bravo male, the Floyd. I'm a Bravo males.
I mean, the guy looked at me, saw my eye color is something different, and he got so scared and he started telling his friend, we should go. And again, I just played it cool. I played it calm. Shoaib, are you here to tell the story? And that means whatever you did was the right thing. Well,
hey, Wazi, don't tell her with the masala. Oh, gosh. Where did you guys find Wazi?
I don't know.
Just pull up that comment quickly.
Wazi, there's a whole song about it, bruh. There's a whole song about it. Go Google. Why am I teaching you this? There's a song, those exact words. Go and Google, you'll find it.
So sorry guys, before I actually forget and before we close the show, someone asked about the government printing and the cards. So there's been a massive backlog with printing of cards, right? And SAPS put out a directive last year regarding competency cards that they're not going to print out competency cards, but they're going to issue out paper printouts. So you can pretty much go to your DFO and get a stamp printout. You're not going to get cards. So now what also transpired is because of this massive backlog, guys have been waiting ridiculous times for their firearm cards.
Sure.
Because that's what they're dishing out right now. So what also happened was the SAPS has a contract with Government Printing Works for the printing of firearm licenses, right? So apparently the contract expired, but it seems like SAPS is not very good at paying GPW, which is Government Printing Works. So the contract expired and they stopped printing cards. So then Martin Hood came out and made an announcement on his page that quite a number of cards, I think 8,000 cards or something like that, have been printed. And then I think the chairman of GOSA, Paul, came on and said, no, those were cards that were printed just before the contract expired. So they're obviously now being brought forward. But then he also made mention to the fact that it looks like somehow SAPS has managed to pay what they owed to Government Printing Works. So printing of cards should now hopefully resume normally. So that's just the point that I wanted to clarify for the guys regarding the card printing stuff. It seems like everything is going to be so. It doesn't mean we're going to get our cards tomorrow. This is still CFR people. We still got to wait and be patient. But at least the boat is not necessarily like sinking or whatever. Yeah.
Hello? Yeah. If you look there, Richard mentions what do you call white perpetrators? You know, I was robbed by white guys one day, the other day, but that's the story for another.
First of all, you were very wrong to laugh. Oh, Kofo, you too. No, man, he was robbed by white people. Stop laughing. It's serious.
I was robbed and I was like, wow, yes, sir.
Guys, I've only been robbed once in my life. You know what I mean? And that happened when I was also in varsity. I've never been robbed again because one, I've tried to be vigilant. You know what I mean? And generally, I just avoid dodgy areas.
But so why do they aim for students? Do they not know? We are studying. We're not even qualified. We don't even have a job. We are broke.
You are vulnerable.
To what?
And you're probably not gonna chase them because you know better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
but with the steps on the cards, you know, there's big problems there. You know, look at General Sasita being put on suspension. The whole steps thing is just chaos. Guys.
I mean, I think
really nothing.
Was it you, Floyd, or was it you already that sent out that the article about a good portion of top management positions at SAPS being vacant?
That was me.
I think it was,
No. I mentioned something about it. I think someone else did the posting. Yeah, it was Temba. He did the posting.
Yeah, it was Temba. Look, guys, the sooner we accept the fact that the policing system in South Africa has collapsed, the better we can prepare ourselves.
Sweetheart, that was accepted in June already by me.
You know,
at
so
least.
Yeah, well, all of us here and on the stream know, but obviously the sheep out there don't know. They just believe that they're gonna call the police station and the fucking van is gonna come running. And a SWAT team is gonna break the door and fucking rescue you. It ain't gonna happen like that.
That's Netflix influence on our lives, I guess.
They're just going to come in to pick up your body and draw a line, and take a statement.
I want to laugh at what you are saying, but it's actually the truth.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. It's actually the truth.
I mean, I remember
Shane, you'll never answer Richard, guys. He's answering his own joke.
What does Richard say? Oh, whiskey male. Oh, fuck.
What do you call white perpetrators?
Like whiskey, like
you call them European.
Like whiskey, like a dog.
No, but Shoaib was saying something earlier on about whatever I did was the right thing. I think the one common thing I had in all my situations was I was just cool, chilled, calm. I first understood and accepted, okay, this is a situation that's happening. I didn't panic. I didn't stress at all. Even after the whole thing happened, when I went home after that gun one, my mother was so panic stricken. I just went home, I put my hand in her face like, wait. I went to the phone, pen and paper, wrote the number plate down, and then I apologized for the hand in the face, but I explained what happened. And then she understood why I did that.
You were able to do that to your mom? My mom would have broken my hand. I would have no hands right now, Probably also a mouth.
My mother was a very understanding person. She had a worried look on her face and she figured something's wrong. This girl left to go to work and now she's back within a couple of minutes. What's wrong? So, I guess the one thing that I was calm. I did no without having any knowledge. I guess I understood what to do. I assessed the situation. I knew my strengths and my weaknesses. In all of my situations, I had more weaknesses than strengths, and I figured, okay, you know what? You won't even know what to do if there was a chance for you to get away with things because you're not trained. You know nothing, and this is, I think, the point of tonight's conversation is to get people to think about that. You're not going to get robbed every week, guys. But when you do, it takes a couple of minutes to take away a lifetime of things you've worked so hard for. Or not only that, materialistic things. People always say, it's materialistic. Try talking to us after COVID. It's hard. The COVID is not even over. You know, we're still trying to gather our strings together.
I don't like losing things in general. Like I lose my mind if I were to, let's say, argument's sake, lose a simple thing like a bottle of whiskey. Yeah, you know what I mean. I will be stressed to the hilt, even if no one takes it. You know, I don't like losing things. For me, I just think like it's a bit of a bad omen. So I just always try and avoid things like that. But what I wanted to obviously say to the guys was, guys, situational awareness is the most important tool in your arsenal. You know what I mean? You can have the best kit, the best training, but if you're not aware of your surroundings and what's happening, you're already on a bad foot. You know, I cannot stress this enough. You need to be aware. You know what I'm saying? Get off the damn phone at the fucking robots, at the fucking traffic lights.
Oh my God, yes.
You know, stop looking at the nice girl's ass at spa or whatever. You know what I mean? Just fucking focus. Know what's happening. Know who's behind you. How long they've been behind you. Are they following you? You know what I mean? And scan your environment. Is there anyone carrying a gun? You know, and if, you know, just sort of try and put yourself in an advantageous situation. When you're sitting in a restaurant, don't have your back to the door. You know, try and face the door. Try and scan and see if there's dodgy characters. Who's coming in and out? Who's passing the table? How many times do they pass the table?
Should something happen, what am I going to use for cover? You know, stuff like that. You know, where am I going to, you know, where am I going to run to? You know, should this happen, what am I going to throw at this person to distract them? You know, so you've got to be on your mind constantly. You know, you see someone at your gate, are you going to allow them to get to your door? No. You understand? Get ready. Have a home routine where the missus knows what to do, where the kids know what to do. You know, then you're all safe.
Amen to that one.
Yeah, so
very
yeah,
true.
Guys, have a great evening.
Beautiful way to end things off, gentlemen. It was a wonderful long chat. Let's hope Gideon trusts us again when we find him from his long secret holiday. But thanks to everyone who tuned in. A lot was spoken about. And I guess I'm hoping a lot of people can learn from this and understand. Don't wait for something to happen for you to then decide to do something about it. It's like, why do you keep soap in your house if you already had a bath today? Bad example, but you get my point.
In the famous words of some dude from the internet, I don't know who his name is, they say a gun is like a parachute. You know, if you need it and don't have it, chances are that you'll never need it again.
Yeah, you'll be gone.
Oh, gentlemen, we must have another one of these. As always, it's been fun. And there's too much to talk about, too much of knowledge to share. But I'm glad we've got most of it out. And I hope this can motivate people to start, just look at your life differently. Like you were saying 2 minutes ago. You start looking at when you are parked, and even me, when my partner is driving, I also look through the rearview mirror, look at my side mirror, and all of these things. And sometimes I pick up on things that maybe he's distracted, and I pick up on it, and it works. And it goes back to what Floyd was saying as well. It's not just one person. If your whole family is able to know what to do, I mean, a 12-year-old kid doesn't have to know how to handle a weapon, but at least if that kid is trained in some form of self-defense or whatever, that's not a helpless child sitting under a table. I don't mean any disrespect. That's a child who can buy you a few minutes more for you to do something more.
Or even call the neighbor or call, security
Do something,
or whatever.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Teamwork, guys. Teamwork
You
is
know,
always the best
when
option.
you say
here.
take cover, nobody should say, "Are you talking to me?" People should lay down.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yes.
If someone says, "Are you talking to me?" I'm gonna clap.
Yeah.
And on that note, guys,
Right.
it's been
Gentlemen,
great.
it's time to go.
It's been
Thank you
Cheers.
so much.
Cheers.
Good
Take
night
care.
and God bless.
Have a great
Night.
evening, everyone.
Cheers.